Hi, my name is Leslie, and I'm here with my sister Guadalupe. The day is May 11th, 2020, and we are recording this interview in Chicago, Illinois. We are recording this interview during the COVID-19 pandemic, and we have been in quarantine for about 7 weeks. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is Guadalupe Gonzalez. I am going to be 23 years old this year. I'm actually about to graduate with my Bachelor of Arts from St. Mary's College in Notre Dame, Indiana. My graduation is this Saturday, so it's been really exciting to know that I'm going to be graduating as a first generation student. And although this is not the circumstance that I would really like to be celebrating in, um, we are doing the best that we can.
Right. So, you're a student, about to graduate from college, making this your last year, like you said. How has quarantine / the pandemic affected your school life, you would say?
I know that there's so many different things going on in the world that are far less far more important than me not being able to finish my last year on campus. But as a student, as someone who has been looking forward to this experience for a very long time, it is a little bit sad to just know that I'm not going to be able to do the traditions that a normal senior from my school would be doing at this time, taking graduation pictures on my campus and just seeing my friends one more time before we all go to different places.
Right, it's hard.
It's hard, but other than that, I mean, online just the transition online hasn't been that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I just miss my campus and I miss my friends and my professors, and it's unfortunate that I never really got to say goodbye to them.
Okay. So I like to ask you about your work. You
Okay.
know, you're known as an essential worker. That's why you're one of the few that are still working during this time. So, how does it feel like you're an essential worker?
So, as you said, I'm working now. So, since I'm back home in Chicago, I decided to take on a full time job
Mm-hmm.
in our community. And at first, I kind of thought that, I'm going to have so much time and I should do something valuable, something that's helping out others and somewhere where I can get some money because we need it.
Mm-hmm.
So I started applying at different places I knew were going to be essential, but this was before only essential businesses were going to be open. So it was way before that. So I was lucky enough to have gotten this position in Target to work for the human resources department just because after I secured the job, everything went down in terms of a complete stay at home ordinance and only essential businesses were supposed to be open. And after that happened, that's where it kind of hit us all at Target that this is something that's going to be going for the long run and it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
serious. And I think for us being there at Target, it's a lot more of a reminder, a consistent reminder every single day because we're there having to adapt to things super quickly. So because of the pandemic, there's new policies being implemented
Mm-hmm.
consistently in
Right.
terms of safety and for health purposes. So it's just we have to adapt really fast and still be able to do our job as best as we can while we try to be as safe as we possibly can.
So, going back to that safety that you mentioned, do you think the customers are respectful to the safety precautions?
It's really been 50-50. There are guests that come into Target and they're very appreciative. They're going at us with so many thank yous and smiles, and they tell us a lot of different phrases of affirmation. But then you have your guests who, for their own reasons, are also being affected. by this, and they're letting out their frustrations at us, unfortunately. We've had people yell and lose their temper in terms of why aren't you doing any returns, because we stopped doing returns for safety reasons. And they get upset, they start asking for the manager, they start yelling. You have people who don't even appreciate us, who dehumanize us and tell us that we should be listening and doing what they want us to, what they want to, like, want to get done, and that at the end of the day we're just a worker at Target. So there's been some of that too, where we're not seen as important to them. Some don't respect our space, so while we have to stay 6 feet apart, they treat us like we're not even sometimes there at the store, like in the aisles. Like they just go past us and like we're nothing, like we don't matter. And then there's others who respect when you tell them, can you please wait for me while I finish cleaning this, or could you please stand 6 feet away while I help you with getting this or that. So it's really been half and half. There's good days, there's bad days, but being an essential worker and just having that as a major discussion nationally, it really does help go into like your work and feel like even though it's difficult, like there's a reason why you're there.
Right. So do you fear going to work because of COVID-19 itself?
I don't have fear, but I know some of my team members do, and those are usually from like mid 30s to 40s that are a little hesitant, and they're also the ones who have the most contact with guests in our store. Those are our team members who are up in the front, and they're cashiers, and they're the ones who actually get the the worst of it, because when a guest is being very disrespectful, it's usually to them, the cashiers, who have to deal with so much. Personally, I don't feel scared. I love that I have a sense of purpose during this quarantine. Work has honestly been a huge help, because I get to go outside and be in the fresh air when I walk to work and come back home from work. And I do enjoy being there for a guest and knowing that I'm contributing in one way or another.
Right. So I have one final question.
Okay.
So, you're 23.
Yes.
And you've seen many things as a teenager and now. So I was just wondering your opinion, since we're living in a pandemic, but you, as a 23-year-old, how do you feel confident in your government and what they're doing to protect us from this pandemic?
Oh God, Leslie. Well, let me just say, at 23, I've seen a lot of things that make me upset. And for better or for worse, I guess at the end of the day, they've kind of pushed me to look into things more than I used to. And again, it's just insane how much I've kind of lived through already at such a young age.
Right.
Even, I started college with the Trump presidency, and that in itself was like
A lot.
a lot. And I mean, I grew up being in a state of like war. I still remember what happened with 9/11. So it's just so many like political things that I've experienced that leaves me wanting more from my government. And partly there's some people involved in politics and the national discussion that give me hope, and even just people from my generation and from your generation, Leslie, that give me hope. But I definitely want more from my government. I'm not happy with how the situation has been taken care of in terms of response to COVID. I am not happy even at the local level. I know I respect Pritzker's decision. I respect Lori's decisions. But I feel like at a certain point, there was a greater need for a long-term plan rather than a stay-at-home order for a long period of time. I know that recently Lori kind of put up a 5-stage plan on how to get back on business, and it's all right, but it's just unfortunate to see all these small businesses getting hurt, all these communities getting hit. African American community was hit so bad by COVID, and then a second wave of it hit the Latino community, and just the response even at the local level has just been so frustrating, because so many people from these historically underrepresented communities are again being hit, and there's families who are just having such a hard time right now economically that it's frustrating not to want more from your government, you know?
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time. I guess that's a wrap.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.